Hey, Instagram. How are you today? Is today Thursday? I think it's Thursday. And we're still on lockdown here in Virginia. And so while we're on lockdown, I figured I'd just talk to folks and, I don't know, talk about life, talk about living a passionate life. I love people who live a passionate life. And all week I've been talking to comedy people. Rob Hubel, my New York roommate on Monday night, who is the star of Netflix's Medical Police. Last night it was Seth Green, who is Chris to my Herbert on Family Guy and a huge mega Hollywood star. And tomorrow night I got Chris Frangiola, who is a great friend of mine that I met in a stand-up comedy workshop back in 1991. And then on Friday, the hilarious Adam Ray, home of the host of the ALN podcast, which is a hugely popular thing. And so tonight, I have the pleasure of talking with Jenny Johnson. So if you check out Jenny Johnson on Instagram or Twitter, you know that she is bitingly funny. She also does stand-up all around. She's been on Drunk History. She's just a genuinely hilarious person and a sweet person too. So I'm trying to see if she has jumped on here to try to join this Johnson. Oh, here you go. Jenny, come on now. You've joined. You haven't requested though. You got to request to hang out and chat. So anyway, we'll get to that as soon. Jenny, as soon as you hit me up, we'll chat. I'm going to play my Hue drum. Until then, got this sweet thing on Instagram. They ought to send me another one for free. But, you know, I got this from one of those little pop-up ads, and I just love the peacefulness of it all. All right, so where are you, Jenny? Are you requesting this thing or what? Or did I miss it? I'm still learning this technology here. Jenny, you got a request to join the live chat. I see my lovely wife, Sarah, is joining me from upstairs. And I see Peter Sackett and Jack Pringle. Give me a sec. Laptop is being weird. Jenny, come on, man. Gosh, letting me down. I'm just kidding. What can we do in the meantime? Anybody got any funny little things they want to shoot up here that we can rap about? I was gonna start this thing wearing my mask that I wore to the grocery store yesterday, and then I was gonna say a joke about, I bet you know why I'm wearing this mask, because of the dump I just took earlier. I'm just kidding. I wasn't going to do that. I wouldn't do that. All right. So where are you, Jenny? Are you still having laptop problems? Last week you had an emergency situation. Tonight, Sarah, thank you. My wife says my brows look nice. They're a little funky. I was putting some mustache wax in them earlier. So anyway, that's going on. And so again, Jenny, you've left me tap dancing here. Do Herbert. I'm actually good at doing Herbert, but you're the best. Well, thank you. That's me. I'm Herbert. Oh, come on now, guys. We're just going to tap dance here until Jenny joins us. That's what I sound like when I haven't warmed up Herbert. Now, when I was a little younger, 20 years ago, I could just freaking do Herbert night and day. But now, especially with all the pollen that's here in Virginia, I got to warm up that voice a little bit. And Steal Your Face Tea. Yes, I love the Grateful Dead. It's from Peter Sackett, my college buddy, who I think we were at the same show, Dead and Company show, about a year and a half ago, but didn't realize it, and still haven't seen each other in 20 years. So Jenny is saying, sorry, I have horrible diarrhea, and no, she doesn't. Just not getting Jenny. I think for the second week in a row, I'm going to end up doing this by myself. Let's see, what can we talk about? We could talk about technology. Go on the Truth or Theory podcast. You'd be great on there. All right, I will check that out. Jenny, I'm here. Oh, there you are. Here we go. Let's go live with Jenny Johnson. How about it? I think she's off now, and she'll still have it on her brain, but hopefully she'll be jumping in here right now. What's up?
What's happening, Mike?
I'm good. I'm good. Were you wiping up or what was going on there?
Well, I had my laptop all set up and everything, and then when I went to live, it was just black. I couldn't see you, so now I'm having to, like a fucking arcade monster, hold my phone up.
You're an arcade. Okay, arcade launch. I don't. What does that mean?
Like an archaic monster. I
Oh,
have to actually
archaic. I thought you said
hold
arc.
my phone up with
I
my hand like a monster.
I got you. I thought you said arcade. I thought like, are there monsters in arcades holding phones?
No, I'm from Texas. I just run my words together.
You're from
Like,
Houston, Texas.
I are. Well, Bay City, Texas, to be exact.
Okay.
Never heard of it? What? Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I don't know Houston. I went to Houston once in my 20s for a couple days, and I
For
may or may not
what?
have been shrooming. So, um,
Well, that's the best way to see Houston.
yes, I
It
liked
really
it.
is.
It was
Yeah.
great. I liked it. I used to like the Astros. Um,
That's a,
but where
I
are you on
mean,
that? You haven't posted on that. Now you're a
you
big
know,
Houston sports fan.
I'm just so disappointed.
Hmm.
Like it's so disheartening to think of like a team that I loved my entire life, like my
Hmm.
entire childhood.
Hmm.
And then for to win the World Series was the biggest deal, and then to find out that like
Yeah. So you feel a little bit like Maria Shriver?
with the made
Yeah, with
baby,
Arnold, like he was the greatest man, and then
and then
he
he
cheated.
was with the housekeeper with
Yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have
yeah.
brought that up. I
I
shouldn't have
mean,
brought
well, I'm not quite over it yet, Mike, so you can't really.
I know, I know. So, so we met a few
But
years
yes, I
ago.
am a big Texan sports.
Okay, that's cool. Mad props to
Yeah,
JJ and the gang
yeah.
and
Except for
Deshaun.
the and DeAndre Hopkins that they.
Is
Did
he
you hear
gone?
about that?
No. All right.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that either. The Houston teams, the Rockets are still hanging in there for me.
Do they still have Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon?
They do. They have yeah, Sam Cassell. They have Clyde Drexler.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
the Phi Slamma Jam.
Yeah. All right. Good.
Yeah,
All right. So
exactly.
we've lost all of our comedy fans through sports talk, but
Yeah.
but
Now the
but
good ones are left. Yeah.
But I was about to say, you and I met probably 4 years ago when I was casting a show, and
Yes.
I wanted to meet you because your freaking Twitter and Instagram are so hilarious.
Yeah,
And
and I wanted to meet you because I'm a big fan of you.
oh, thank you. And we had that love fest. We talked about that, and
Yes.
so just to kind of give people who may not follow you yet your sensibility there. I love the split screen piece that you posted the other day, where on one side it's a couple with a
Uh-huh.
sign, and on the other side it's the family hearing the news, and the couple is saying the woman is holding a sign that
Oh,
says,
I
he,
like actually, I didn't know what you were talking about because you were
"Yeah,
saying it so eloquently. Like there was a couple and they
right,"
were holding a sign. You're
and the
making it,
woman
and I was like, I don't think I posted
the
that.
woman is holding a sign that says, "He finally ate my ass," and the man is like pointing at her,
And
and on
he
the other
did.
side of the screen, it's the parents and the relatives who are just screaming in joy as if it's
It's
the greatest news.
clearly, it
So,
had to have been one of those videos of like a couple announcing they're having a baby.
of course,
A
yes.
100%. But whoever thought to do that?
Yeah, but you find
My
those things,
hats,
and
they're all text to me.
I apologize to any youngsters that are watching tonight, and a lot of family people at the prime time 8 o'clock hour. But
Yeah,
I had to reference your ass eating joke because it's so funny.
it
But
was good.
but what you do, what I really like about you is you have the guttural, hilarious, harsh joke like that is just laugh out loud funny. But then you're also sweet. You have your dog Dewey.
I do
Um,
have Dewey.
you
He's the
post
most
you post your
special.
dog, and
I
you've
do.
posted your old dog. What was your old dog's name?
Birdie,
Okay.
Lady Bird Johnson, Birdie.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Before the
my
movie.
old Basset Hound. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Before the movie, the movie was
Yeah.
based on her life. Yes.
Right.
And then I had a dog named Hank, my lab. I've had all my dogs live a long time. That says something. Knock on wood.
Right. But you're
Yeah.
funny. But you're funny. But you're also sweet, and you're vulnerable on there, and I think that's nice. And that's not probably how you are on the comedy club stage. You're just pretty much got your thick skin on, and you're being hilarious, right? I've not seen you live
Well,
at a club.
well, yeah, but like you've done stand up before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so like you put on a little persona when you're
Yes.
on stage. It's like you're not. There are some comics out there I feel like are exactly the same. on and off,
Right.
like nothing changes. Like I feel like Bill Burr
Yes.
is just Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Like
It's
what
authentic.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, my stand up is pretty authentic, but I maybe play like a heightened version of, like
Right.
maybe a little bit of more of the Twitter persona.
Right. I
You
got
know
you.
what I mean?
I got you. And so,
Yeah.
anybody who's just tuning in a few minutes late, I'm talking with my friend Jenny Johnson, who is hilarious on Twitter, Instagram, Drunk History, and on comedy clubs,
And somebody said
stages.
plain drinking. I'm looking. I didn't realize you could like see the comments. I've never
Yeah,
done the Instagram
yeah.
live.
Um,
Nice.
but I- but I want to talk, and what I sort of what I dig is talking to people who are living a cool life like you are, who are clearly you're funny and you're following that and you're living that life.
Yes.
So, and you didn't always pursue that because I know that you had another
It
career
wasn't
before
always
this.
funny.
But
Yeah.
let's take it all the way back. So when you were a
Okay.
kid, when did you first discover actually that you were funny?
I never really think I'm funny. I always thought other people were funnier than me.
When did people start laughing at you and you could make them laugh? In other words,
I was constantly trying to make my parents laugh, but what I always appreciated was my parents did not courtesy laugh at their kids.
that's good. They didn't
Like
give
you
you
had,
a church laugh,
yeah, you had to earn your laughs. So like
right?
if I was able to actually make my parents laugh, it
Right.
was genuine, and I felt like a hero.
Good.
Like you fully go, okay, I earned that. But then you do as a kid, you're like, I'm gonna run that joke into the ground. I'm gonna
Right.
keep telling them the same shit that made them
Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah. You don't know. You don't know
Yeah.
that yet.
Oh,
So,
Dewey,
uh,
hi.
is it somebody humping your foot or? Yep.
That's Dewey. Yeah.
Hey, Dewey, what's up? Um, so when you were a kid,
hmm
I mean, did you kind of obviously you got off when your parents laughed? You thought that was great and it made you
Yeah.
feel good. Now, did you take that to school? Were you the funny kid at school?
Um, I mean, I don't know that I would say I was funny. I laughed. I was very silly. I was a real silly kid. And like
Hmm.
the humor that I liked, my dad he was the big one that would always like wake me up and go, "Hey, don't wake your mother up, but this is Airplane, or
Oh
this
yeah.
is Blazing Saddles, or this is
Right.
Cheech and Chong, but don't do what they're doing." But and my
Right.
sister is 2 years older than me. Like that's just like my dad knew his kids. He knew
Right.
like that Amy's not going to give a shit about watching, Blazing Saddles, but I'm going to eat it up. So
Right.
like everything was always just really silly. I liked all that, and I love, like, to me the dream would be like working on Saturday Night Live, like that
Yeah.
would be, I
Did
feel
you
like
ever
as
pursue that?
I never,
No.
I mean, like once I got older and you like realize what it is, it
Right.
means to actually do that. I was never like a improv performer. I
Did you do
never
anything like theater in school, or did you get up in front
I
of people? Were you a
yeah,
class clown at all? No.
I would say I was a class clown. I mean, yeah, maybe there was always people to me that were funnier. Like I would be like nominated for something, but I would never get it. Like
Right.
I was funny enough. I was athletic
Right.
enough. But
So
I
were you
never.
always sick? Were you always twisted and like you thought,
Yes, yes, very much so. Like
throwing a
what I
pile of
would.
shit at a car or something would be hilarious?
Yeah, like I would be the one still when somebody's like, okay, 69. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, he said it, 69.
Yeah. We'll know your passwords. We'll figure
Right.
that. Dewey 69, is that your password for everything? Okay.
Now I have to change it. Thanks a lot.
All right. So or now it'll be 69 Dewey. Um, Barry Wood.
Yeah. Oh, by the
Barry
way,
Wood
that
69.
we could talk about wood.
Yeah. Wood. Now, Wood, you recognize his face, whoever's watching this probably. He's the well endowed African American gentleman that, has been
He's brought the
that
world together.
that single photo. It's sort of the Mona Lisa of the coronavirus.
But let me
It
ask you
is the
though,
most
how
popular
long
piece
how
of
long
art.
has he been on your radar screen? Because I've been getting
Several years,
text. Yeah, like I've been
many
getting
years.
text for years. I'm like, I can't believe it took this for him to go
Right.
viral because
ISIS is, plotting to bomb your
yeah.
neighborhood, and you
Or
click and there he is.
yeah, San
Right.
Vicente, the whole side is on fire, and you're like, oh my God, you
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
there he is. It looks so like to me, like my friends and I that have been passing this around forever, we're like, finally, he's
Yes,
getting
exactly.
good
Hey, I
for
knew
him.
him. Yeah. It's like
Yeah, like he's been famous for
that's funny.
years.
It's like Russell Wilson went to my hye school. So, a lot of people listening to this probably we all knew this guy's like a superstar. He's going to do something amazing.
Right.
So it's the same thing now that he's won a Super Bowl and he's big shot.
And he's married
he's
to
the
a pop.
foot. Hey, what's that?
He's married to a pop star, isn't he? Russell
Yes,
Wilson.
he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ciara.
See,
I don't know, but
it sounds like a pill that you'd take for a like busted wiener.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
your CR.
yeah. Let me take my Ciara. Somebody was requesting the Herbert voice earlier.
I always request the Herbert voice. That and Bruce.
Come on now, come on, sit on my lap.
Come on, don't be shy.
Oh God, it's probably not, it's not good to see my face as you hear that voice, but
I think it's funny because it's like to actually put that voice, like whose voice is that coming out of? I find it hilarious.
Yeah.
I always thought they should have had Herbert have an episode where he's like the Easter Bunny at a mall.
Hey.
Yeah. Come sit on my lap.
Oh yeah. So what you got there? You just drinking water, or you got a cocktail going, or what you got?
That's a little sparkling water in my Texans.
Yeah, I love the sparkling water.
Have you ever tried these though? I was gonna open that.
Yeah, I've not, but that's what you're having.
No, I just
Is it
have
clear?
It is clear. I'm not having it right now, but I might. But the good people at Bud Light sent me
Now, why
a
did
shit ton of that.
Now you mentioned the other day, so Bud Light sent you a bunch of Bud Light. Wow.
Because I posted a picture and I was on stage and I had a Bud Light and I was like,
nice.
"Hey, I'll be your spokesperson." And somebody there was like, "Oh, we'd love to send you a thank you," whatever.
Right.
I'm like, and especially right now, I'm going to keep pitching shit constantly. Yeah.
All right. Well,
I like Bud Light long necks.
I did this.
Too.
I got a huge drum. I want more huge drum. Have you seen this on Instagram, or is
What
it just
is
me?
it?
It's this thing, and it comes with these two sticks, and I talked about it a second ago. But it's just a very chill kind of thing.
Are you playing that?
Fuck yeah, I was playing that.
What is
Who
it
else could have
called?
played that?
I don't know.
Earbuds. I like earbuds. I'd love to sponsor earbuds.
Oh, those the air?
Earbuds.
What do they call them now? AirPods. Whatever. It's stupid.
AirPods.
It's just something else you got to buy.
Spoons. I'd like to sponsor spoons.
I like sunglasses.
Ha, yeah.
Yeah,
There you
Oliver
go.
Peoples makes a nice.
You know what? I
I'm
got
just
some
gonna-
Oliver Peoples right here. These are my reading glasses.
Oh, those are sassy.
Be somebody. I wish they had an OptiGrab. Remember the jerk, the OptiGrab?
Oh, what was the thing that people got from that? Was it like headaches or what was the?
It caused him to be cross-eyed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it caused him to be cross-eyed, and Carl Reiner couldn't yell "cut" before a stunt car drove off a cliff. And so then he got sued and lost all the money. That's The Jerk. Everyone should see The Jerk starring Steve Martin. I think it was 1979. One of my big inspirations.
I always wanted to name our family Basset Hound Shithead.
Shithead, yeah.
Yeah, it was vetoed. I did not get the.
Yep.
They named her Lily instead.
That was when Navin Johnson. Okay, so Steve Martin plays Navin Johnson, who's the adopted white son of a black family in the Deep South.
Very similar to my upbringing. It was Johnson. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he's hitchhiking he heard jazz music and he found his toes tapping, and so he realized that he needed to go and investigate where this music was coming from. So he was hitchhiking to St. Louis, and one of my favorite jokes is he's standing there by the side of the road with his thumb up, and some guy drives up and goes, "St. Louis?" And he's like, "No, Navin Johnson." The guy's like, "No, are you going to St. Louis?" He's like, "Yeah." And so I just love that joke. And so then he's staying at a hotel that catches on fire, and it was somehow the dog's fault.
Shithead's fault.
Yeah. And I can't remember the joke.
I always like the one where he's like at the table and he excuses himself to go to the bathroom. He's like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah. Steve Martin was the shit back in the day. Steve Martin and Chevy Chase were my big comedy guys when I was in high school and college. And
who was it growing up for you, like as a little kid?
As a younger kid, I don't even know. I just remember Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Airplane, Naked Gun a little bit later.
Leslie Nielsen was always a...
But back to the point of like the through line of this idea for a show that I have that we're doing right now is like, I had this voice inside of me saying, man, go be funny somewhere. But I ignored it. You know, I didn't know how
Yeah.
to go about it. And I went to schools, and my college was not like a performing arts place at all. It was more of a business, you know, pre-law type place. And so I enjoyed my time there, but I never felt like I wasn't listening to that voice inside me until I saw David Lynch's Wild at Heart and realized, and I talked about this last night with Seth Green, like, holy crap, if somebody can do this weird shit and be at the top of the world, I can
Right.
go do my weird shit. I just got to go figure out what it is. So I moved to LA.
Yeah.
So now what did you do? So where did you go to college?
I went to Sam Houston State University, which is in Huntsville, Texas, home
Okay.
of the Department of Corrections. That's
Oh,
where people
good.
get yeah, but it's where Dan Rather went to college.
Oh,
And I wanted to be like, I thought I wanted to be like an anchor on ESPN.
so you
Like
were a
that was
journalism major.
yeah. So I did broadcast journalism. And matter of fact, our communications building was the Dan Rather
Uh-huh.
communications building. He funded, like, we had
Right.
the best equipment. It was actually when I graduated and got my first job in TV, we had better equipment in college
Right.
than at the station I was working at in Austin.
Yeah, I'll bet. And so wait, so what were you doing at the station? Weren't you a news producer or were you on air
So
or
I started off actually as I was like my first job. I didn't, my dad made it a point to tell me, look, I don't play golf with any news anchors, so you're going to have to get a job, on your own.
right?
And so after I graduated from college, I didn't need an internship to get my degree, but I took one. I moved to Austin and I took one during the summer in the sports department at the local Fox station
Okay.
and worked there. And then when my internship finished, they had an opening for like a morning camera operator, and
Yeah.
roll the teleprompter. So I was like,
Yeah,
done.
why not?
They hired me and I just kind of worked my way into the sports department, like doing sports producing.
Okay.
And then I went to San Antonio, and then I did that for a while, which was really fun working in sports. Like you go to all the games, you get all your, it's like
Yeah.
working at a toy store. It was
Did you
really
get to
fun.
go in the locker room and interview
Yeah,
people?
yeah, that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
You had to learn to just focus at a point on the wall and don't like
Right. You
look
look down.
down.
You look down.
Well, I tried because a lot of times the guys would like try to fuck with me.
Right.
Like, oh hey, what'd you think? Just stand there in front of
Just
me. I'm
like
like,
put their
hey,
glasses on their penis and say,
all
"Hey, what's
right.
going on?"
And I'd be like, hey, cool wiener. Anyway,
Right.
you
Are
know,
are those Oliver Peoples?
yeah.
Oh, so
But I did that, and then after a period of time, I was like, I didn't really see room to grow as a sports producer. So I thought maybe news. So I started like working with, like getting to work a little early and working in the news department. And then when something became available, I started being a news producer. But the whole time, I was in Austin, San Antonio, and Houston, but the whole time I would write like columns for different like freebie magazines and like write these little like humor,
right.
like humorous. Like I was doing it on the side for nothing. But when I was in Houston and Twitter came along,
Hmm.
and if you're working in news, you have to be okay. There's Facebook. You have to join Facebook because as sick as it sounds, like, hey, a kid wraps his car around a tree. We need to pull a picture.
Right.
Like how it's so when I got on Twitter, I just started following like CNN breaking news, and then I started following some comedians, and I realized, oh, they're just writing jokes. Like,
Hmm.
I'll do that too, you
Yeah.
know. And I started doing that. I went from 0 followers, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I have 100. Like, how cool. Oh,
Right.
I have, oh, that's cool. I have 1,000. And all of a sudden I was like, I have 50,000 followers. I have 100, just
Yes. How many do you
strictly,
have now, roughly?
um, like about 400,000.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, but it's weird. It was like all truly word of mouth, like just people retweeting you. And back in the day, they used to do that Follow Friday where people would like encourage you to
Right.
follow other people. And I would all of a sudden it was like the first big one for me was Patton Oswalt. It was
Uh-huh.
like actively promoting me. Like everyone followed
Nice.
this person, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit! Like
That's a good one.
yeah, and so it just I always hate when people say let something happen organically because it just sounds so
Right.
fucking stupid. But that truly is how it
But
happened.
well, yeah, I'm terrible. Like I had a show. I had the Cleveland show on the air. Like I I still have like maybe 10,000 followers on Twitter,
Yeah,
which I haven't been on in like a year because I hate the politics of it all, and I
I
just
can't. Twitter's
uh,
not fun anymore.
yeah, I just like the Instagram. It's it's really funny jokes, dogs, and
Yeah,
whatever. It's nice.
I love Instagram so much more than Twitter because everyone's having the worst day of their life on Twitter.
Yeah,
Like somebody can go, some celebrities. I donated $1 million to this coronavirus relief fund. That's it? Don't you have more? Like
right.
fucking so,
Yeah,
you selfish piece of shit. You're like, no
yeah.
one can like ever have a good day.
Why do you think everybody's so angry? And hey, real quick, I just want to say I'm talking with Jenny Johnson, my friend, and
Yeah.
she's hilarious. Follow her on Instagram and Twitter if you want to laugh all the time.
Yeah. I
So,
think
why do you think everybody's so angry out there?
I think because too many people have a voice that shouldn't have one.
Okay.
Like the people. Are you on Facebook? Like I'm
No.
on it, but I have people that I just like grew up with, you
Right.
know. And I just feel like on Twitter, everyone just likes to be mad. They like to argue and
Right.
like
Well, it's the age of they're hiding behind an emoji or whatever, and people are,
right.
you would never talk that way to people in
No.
person. Like I don't know.
Yeah, you would never go up to someone and go, "Hey, kill yourself." Like
Yeah. Well, it's like driving. Like if I'm driving and somebody cuts me off or somebody's on my tail or whatever, I will call them any word that exists
oh, when we
based
have
on
road
their
rage.
appearance and how they're driving.
Oh,
Um,
and you'll get down and dirty. It'll be like things will come out of your mouth
right.
that it's like
Right.
when you're
But
you ever do that when you're
backfire.
like in the car with your mom or something, and all of a
No,
sudden
I'll be in the
this
car with my
switch
daughter.
flips and you're like, oh
Right.
my God.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know
No,
you had that in.
I'm just kidding. That's how we do it when we drive.
But I like it when we have like we all get so pissed off with road rage, but when you're the asshole,
Yeah.
you kind of forget.
Yeah. You just don't make eye contact.
Like to me when when you cut someone off, we all do that same thing where we're just like
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
like
Yeah.
that's basically all you
Well,
can give
there's
people.
a big difference between LA and Richmond, Virginia, which is where I am now. Like, you will pull up to a red light with two lanes, okay? There will
Uh,
be six cars stacked up in one lane and no cars in the other lane.
right.
Would that ever happen in LA? I don't know. It doesn't
I
happen.
Possibly, I don't know. I try to avoid having to be out. Right now in LA, it's so bizarre because there's no traffic.
Right, right.
It's
No, I'm
almost
just talking
like
about
the
how
end of days.
passive people are here in general as far as getting around.
Oh, yeah, in LA, everyone's like the road rage in LA is amazing. Also, when it rains, like right now, it's been raining a few days.
Hmm.
People have no concept of how to drive
Right, right,
in the rain. Like Priuses are spinning out all over, and everyone's just they'll lay on the horn when it's impossible for someone to move.
right.
And it's just annoying everyone. I'm like, where I'm from, everyone, like, did you grow up in Richmond?
Yeah. Oh, sure. You need to get over? Yeah, come on over. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's cool.
come on. And when you drive past someone, it's like you do that thing on the steering wheel where you're like you
Yeah,
just wave to fucking strangers for no
right.
reason.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Out here, no, all
No.
bets are off.
So what made you go ahead and move out? Did you like you got to a point where your Twitter was blowing up and people were saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, this girl's really funny," and
So I
did you
ended
say
up
fuck it and quit your job and go? Is that what you did?
no, I had actually had an opportunity. So all of a sudden, I found myself with an agent.
Mm,
Like I'm with the WME and like
right.
and all of a
You
sudden
said
I
an
had
Asian? I didn't hear you.
an Asian, yes,
Okay. Oh,
a
well.
very very sexy.
Okay.
That's it. No, my agent.
Right.
And I had an opportunity to write a pilot, and I ended up like
To
selling
ride
it.
a pilot? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, and me and this Asian
Okay. So
wrote a
you
pilot.
rode a pilot. Okay. Was he handsome? Was he drinking
No,
coffee?
no, he
Okay.
was very aggressive, but
Oh, okay.
that's a whole other
All right.
thing.
Did he land the
It,
plane?
it was a bumpy. It was a
Okay.
bumpy.
All right.
There was ambulances on the
All right.
tarmac.
1, 2, 3 point landing.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, so I ended up going, you know what? I'm gonna give this a shot. Like
hmm
give because this has been like my childhood dream of like having the opportunity. All those freebie magazines I wrote for, now I'm writing for GQ and
Right.
writing for like,
So you always liked writing. You wanted to be a writer.
yeah, and I
Okay.
always wanted to do stand up too, but it was like I would just like try some open mic thing, and it was with no material,
So did you do
just
that? You did that in Houston then, or
in
along the way?
Austin.
Okay.
Okay. But it was like I tried it, and it became too nerve-wracking. And I think a lot of times as writers, we kind of want to perform,
Right.
as well, but you're like, and then finally I just like ripped the Band-Aid off and went, I'm gonna give it a
Quit
shot.
billing. Okay.
And
So what'd you have
so
lined up when you moved out?
so I had I sold a I was already writing, I think, my second pilot. I'd sold
Okay.
one.
And was
And
he any better?
no,
No? Oh,
yeah.
you were
The
on the wrong
the
plane.
vetting process isn't very,
Right.
difficult.
Okay.
But I started doing the stand-up thing was more on the side. The writing is what is paying like the bills.
Right.
But I started like really taking it more serious. And because of Twitter, I was able to like kind of cut in front of the line as far as going to comedy clubs. Like
Mm-hmm.
the
People
Laugh
knew who
Factory.
you were.
Yeah, so it was like the Laugh Factory is like, sure, when do you want to come? And
Right.
there are people that have been doing stand-up in LA for 10 years and I've never,
Right.
but
So,
because of Twitter, because I already had this like kind of built-in
right.
following. And
So when you
so
cut them
yeah,
off, did you wave at them? Did you,
I was
when you
like,
cut in front of them, where you were like,
no, I always felt like super guilty. I still do. Like I feel bad for like I didn't deserve it or something, but that's probably just part of my upbringing of
right.
feeling
Well,
like,
you didn't.
you know, no, I didn't at all.
No, you hadn't
I
been
have
given the
no
time.
business doing any of this shit.
So you had some material. So how did you come up with your material? And this
All
is okay.
my
And it,
material's very storytelling.
okay.
Yeah, so I do a lot more like topical, observational
Hmm.
things. I'm trying to like think of, like Kathleen Madigan or,
I don't know who any contemporary comics are.
well, she's old school. She's been around forever. If
Oh
you
well,
saw her, you would know. Or like, I mean, Seinfeld does observational humor, but it's like Sebastian Maniscalco, like just storytelling, just
right.
like,
Sure.
and so my stuff is always like coming from a lot of it's 100% true. Like it's just, the way I see things and,
Sure.
you know, but I leave out, I'm not one of the talk about fucking all the time comics. I never do that because I feel
Yeah.
like that's overdone.
Right. Right. I
But,
talk. I talk about shitting all the time.
right.
I'm just kidding. I joke about it.
Well, it's really popular right now.
Is it?
It's super in.
I didn't write the joke,
Everyone's
but
shitting. Everyone is shitting
some
these days.
somebody
The
wrote on,
kids
on
are.
Family Guy, and it wasn't me, but Peter Griffin had a line where he referred to pooping is the poor man's ejaculating, which I thought was very funny, and I take no credit for it other than I'm on that show. Um, so anyway,
Well,
so
who wrote, let me ask you this, because one of my favorite things was the Poltergeist episode
oh yeah,
when
Ah,
Bruce was the
he
medium.
was the medium, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like when you go by and you see somebody with a hairlip eating soup.
I know when the restaurant's full, but I still can't go back in there.
And it won't take the
Just
chance to get the same spoon.
that's I gotta watch. I haven't seen that in a long time, but
I love it. I know every word of it, and you
all right, say it.
don't.
What is it? How's it go?
Oh God, you're gonna put me
Don't
on the
worry about
spot. No,
it.
when he's like, "Is my baby brother gonna be okay?" Well, we will have to find out. It's like people get lost on the way. It's like when you go by a restaurant. When he said, and I saw a guy with a hairlip eating soup, and I was like, "Ew."
Uh, I know when the restaurant's full, but I don't want to take the chance of getting that spoon. Yeah,
He
well,
goes, "I don't like them odds."
yeah.
That's my favorite like accent of all time. Is
Well,
like a
he's
Southern
real.
gay gentleman.
He's everywhere. I've seen 10 of that
Uh,
guy around town
I
this week.
know that. It's like I know that guy, but I just love the wording. Them's gonna make you sick.
Yeah,
Like it's the
very particular. Yeah, I remember I sent my wife flowers a couple of years ago, and we had this florist who owned a nice little whatever,
on a
florist
nice little
shop.
floral shop, a
So
florist
he
floral shop.
he he delivered himself. He usually had delivery people, but he brought the
Uh-huh.
flowers out. And I was like, "Hey, what's up, man? It's nice to see you coming out here." He goes, "Man, it's
Uh-huh.
damn Obama economy," and it's just like I love the gay Southern Republican is one of my favorite.
There was a guy when I lived in Houston, the hair guy that I went to, next to him was this guy named Leroy, not
Uh-huh.
Leroy,
No, no,
Leroy.
no. Yeah, yeah.
And he would talk and talk, and he wore like, oh my God, rings on every finger, and he just everything was. And I said, Leroy, there was some holiday coming up. What are you going to do? He goes, well, I don't know. Just going to depend because my wife gets so upset about things, and I'm going to take my son hunting. I'm like, what the fuck?
What? You're
Like
full
your
of shit,
wife,
man.
you're gonna take your son. I'm like, you're not taking your son hunting. Are you fucking out of your mind? He's like,
Yeah,
well, he likes to go hunting. I'm not really into it, but
yeah.
it's nice being outdoors in the sunshine.
Like my
I'm like,
wife with
what the?
stacks.
Yeah, she's just. And then I saw his
She's
wife. I'm
always
like,
wanting to do it. I'm like, really?
oh,
Sorry. That's fine.
ew. It's not
Um,
Tuesday. That's our day. We do
no, no, no,
it.
no.
But that is 100% my favorite.
Yeah. I just like people who are um, clearly not living the real deal. It's funny. I find humor in that, but then I'm also a little empathetic because it must be hard sometimes for people not to be able to be themselves. So
Fair.
anyway,
Did you ever see
that's the
that
humanity of it.
character that Dana Carvey did, Lyle, the effeminate heterosexual?
Oh yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that always reminded me of it. He's like,
Um,
I was
so
at the parade.
what is your writing process when like if you're writing? Do you sit down and crank stuff out in the morning, or do you just write when it comes to you, or do you set aside? I'm sure you set aside time here and there, right? Or how do you do it?
You know, I used to do that, but I found it didn't really work very well because I would just start feeling like pressure. "Oh, I have to do this at this time. If I
Hmm.
just like, sometimes it's at night, sometimes it's first thing in the morning. Like, but I will throughout the day will be making notes. Like I'll
Hmm.
think of something and or I'll see something on TV or whatever, and I'll just make a note and then I'd kind of build on that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you write stuff out like your stand up? Do you write out the wording, or do you just write the essence
No.
of it and you get up there and you just talk?
I will write like just a few words. Like I know what I want to say. Like when I go on stage,
Right. Right.
depending
It'll
on how
cue
long
you.
yeah, like just I'll have like maybe an index card or on the notes feature on my phone. I'll just have
Right.
a few words, but I
So
know
it's
what
like
it
a
means.
right. It's like a catcher giving a pitcher a sign. He doesn't say, he gives you a curveball sign. He doesn't say grab the ball by the seams and twist it, and
Right.
because that would be way. They'd have to have too many trash can lids to get all that out. I'm sorry, I'm busting your Houston balls. Um,
Terrible. But it's like some people do verbatim write their stuff out. I what I
yeah.
think is funny is like one time I was doing stand up and I had an index card and I
Hmm.
had all my just words and it fell out of my pocket. Like, and I thought whoever finds that is gonna think this is the weirdest grocery list of all
Right.
time because it's
Yeah.
like off the
Right.
top, suck my dick, and then
Right.
like like I know what they mean.
Right.
But if someone else just found that card, they would go like, "What the fuck is this? Is
That
this some
doesn't
kind
sound
of
like the worst grocery list so far. But
if yeah, if I read the whole thing out to you, it'd be pretty bad."
yeah. Um, so I mean, I actually do. If I'm gonna do a talk or something, I actually do write out all the words, and I read through it and I read it out loud a couple times, and it tricks your brain into kind of saying it. It's the same thing with like a table read. Like if you
Yeah, I
like if I'm getting ready
practice
for a
like
table
I
read,
walk around and I will say like when I'm practicing at home. Like I actually
right?
have a microphone that I just cut the cord off of just to have it in my hand.
Enough said.
Yeah, and
That's
so I just
you're getting
pace around and then I
you're
just
getting
like
you're getting personal now. I
yeah.
don't want to know what that microphone's really all about. But
If it could talk.
uh, well, um, but yeah. So when I'm preparing for a table read, I'll actually read out loud all of my lines, in character, once or twice beforehand, and
Mhm.
then it just goes because I don't know what happens when I'm reading it
But
cold.
that
I
has to
can't
but that
remember.
has to be a lot more difficult because you're doing different voices. Like you have to practice that out loud, don't you?
No, it's really just to get the wording, and maybe some of the inflection, I guess. But yeah, so I mean, the voices, I just cue myself. If I'm recording, I'll always if I can't remember Bruce's voice, I'll go back to, oh, sure, I can do that. And just like that's his first
It just
line
sets.
that he ever said, and it's a reset. So,
Oh, okay. So that takes you right
yeah,
into it.
I get back into the
There's
proper register, etc.
what's the most difficult voice that you do? Is one
Um,
like hard to do?
Consuela, Consuela was a cleaning lady that I had when Family Guy at the time, and
Hmm.
she was always just no, no, no. I'm like, do you
Yeah,
mind just cleaning in here first because I'm working on some stuff, and I can go
yeah,
out there and blah blah blah. She's like, no, no, yeah, clean in there first, and I'm just like, what am I gonna do? Like I'm not gonna fire
yeah.
her because she's so sweet, but she just had her way of doing things, so I would always imitate her, and that became Consuela. But
And
when
that really hit the
but
nail on the head for so many people, though. Everyone knew that. Like I
right,
felt like so
right.
many people were like, "Oh shit, is that based off of?"
Right,
You know?
right. But that voice is sort of hard because now they're writing it. It's gone beyond just a few words, which is what she always did. So I find that
Right.
it's hard to kind of find how she would say all of these things. So that's
Well, the
probably the hardest part.
one there was that episode where she found Stewie and he went to live with her family, and she
Right,
was
right,
like
right.
giving him a bath, and it's like he's like, "What is this?" She's like, "Hey, come on, hey, come on," and she was like making a stew in the tub while Stewie
Right.
was in the
Oh, fuck.
bathtub.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I
I liked
adored
it
that
when
one.
she found when she kept kicking Brian out of the house. No, doggy
What?
afuera. Like just kept putting the dog out.
He's like,
Um,
no, 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 you know this. No, doggy, no, no, doggy. I
that
had,
it is such a privilege to be able to do this for a living because I've been on the
so fun.
outside and was for a long time trying to get into voiceovers, among other things. When Family Guy was actually canceled for a year and a half, I was telling Seth Green this last night. I auditioned 100 times, easy, and never got called back for anything. But when you're
Wow.
actually on the inside and you're creating something with the other people who are working with you and writing and collaborating, then it takes off. That's
Yeah.
when you I don't know that's been the greatest thrill for me is having other people kind of collaborate on the things that I get to say. So
Yeah. Do
um,
you do you do a lot of writing on the show?
I was actually hired by Seth to write jokes and create characters at the very beginning.
Uh-huh.
And because I'd met him along the way, he was my brother's college roommate. And
Oh, okay.
so I helped him with the pitch that he did. And so when he sold the show, I moved from New York to LA. And I just wrote gags primarily the first year and created Cleavon and who else was the first year? Bruce and I think Herbert came later, and the greased up deaf guy.
When you say gags, do you mean
Yeah,
do you mean the cutaways when you say
yeah,
gags?
cutaways, yeah. And can you hear me? Because you're
Phone
frozen.
freeze up.
No, it might be mine too. Hey, y'all, it's the Cleveland Show. Oh, there you are. Can you hear me? Oh, now you're talking and I can't hear you. Hey, Jenny, dive out of here. Uh, hit, come back in and I'll let you back in. So, Jenny Johnson, hilarious. I'm seeing a lot of funny questions, and we'll ask her a couple of those when she jumps back on here. There she is. Come on. Come on. Come on, Jenny. All right, now I'm trying to accept this request, and now I've turned the phone around. Um, Hold on. Come on, man. All right, there's me at least. We got that. Shit, it's not letting me accept her request. You can see my tripod there. Um, Jenny, break free and try it one more time. So in Family Guy, we write jokes. We have cutaway gags that are not part of the story. We've been doing that since the very beginning. And now it's, all right, here we go. Come on. This blows, man. I think too many people are on Instagram Live, not necessarily on this one, but in general, because I can't add her back on. Come on, Jenny. Jenny, Jenny. Who can I? Come on now. I don't know what to do. What would y'all do? Hey, what would y'all do? Jenny, you want to try to disengage and jump back on one more time? I got it. I got it. I got your number on the wall. Boy, this technology is boning us. See, I keep turning it around. You can see my tripod and my windows. All right, she's coming. She's coming. I can see. I can see she's coming. Come on, Jenny. There she is. Can you see her? Can we see Jenny? Can we see Jenny, Jenny? Jenny Johnson? Sorry, people. This is what you get for a free talk show. This blows. Could I kindly ask Hayden Harding and 2 others to kind of bail on the request right now? That might be jamming it up. I would do something nice for y'all if you would. Oh, well. Do I have to start this thing over? All right. I'll be right back. All right. We got some audio on this mug or what? Can anyone hear me? Is anyone out there listening to me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh my God, it's Christmas time. I am going to fire my producer.
Oh my God, you should. This is bullshit. I am not accustomed to this kind of horse shit. This is fucking Bush League.
All right, so you froze up and then came back, but you had no audio, and then I quit and then came back and I had no audio. And I was sitting here, and I don't know if anyone could see, but I took my clothes off and I ran around, and then I came back. I was farting the whole time to see if the audio worked. But anyway, we're here now, and that's what's important.
This is Bush League. We should not have to put up with this.
You know what?
Thanks a lot, Obama.
You know, this Obama economy. You know what? I love. Yeah, Bush League is the best league for me because I love Bush. Just kidding.
Oh
no! You can punctuate any joke with a whistle.
Can you?
Yeah. So you can just say, I don't know. That's not what was the Onion joke? The Onion joke was that Mike Pence thought the devil's triangle was a vagina. So you can always just throw in a whistle.
When I was a sports producer, the guys I worked with, we would all. And by the way, I was always the worst.
Yeah.
As far as when people say oh my God, you're in sports, sexual harassment,
right.
I sexually harass everyone. I was the worst.
I'll bet.
But we would always do if somebody says something, kind of a that's what she said.
Yeah, yeah.
We would we could all be working. If somebody said something, somebody had to go boop, just to acknowledge it. Just, boop.
Yeah.
like a smoke detector battery going off or something.
Just, yeah. No, I get it. That's a comedy shorthand right there.
I mean,
that shows you're all on the same wavelength, and that's the hardest thing about stand-up because you can be hilarious with your friends. Okay, so when I was in college, and then for a short time after, I worked in advertising, and I had a group of friends, and we were all people thought I was funny or whatever, and I knew what to say, but then when you get out in front of the whole world, not everyone else is on your wavelength, and so you have to with your setup make everyone on common ground, and then kick them in the deck with the punchline. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
Fucking so.
And I didn't mean to be sexist because you could also kick someone in the box. So
you could fully kick someone. You could kick someone in the box where Wiener used to be.
Right. Yeah. And if it's tight pants, you go toe to toe when you kick them.
Yeah, hallway to hallway. I mean, I don't know.
All right. This is the writer's room. This is what the writer's room is like.
But do you find that because we're so you and I text each other horrible things.
Yes.
And I don't even flinch. I get so excited when I get something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know, like if there's something that's good, I mean, I swear my hands will start shaking. I can't
Right.
forward it
Yeah.
fast enough. It's
No
like this
matter
is
what
a
else I'm doing. Yeah.
and but then because I have so many different people I text with, did you see? I can't remember if you sent it to me or I sent it to you, but the thing with Wood, you know, the big guy
Oh,
that
yeah.
they incorporated with Meet the Parents.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, when that video, I feel like it was released, and then it just, like coronavirus, it just started spreading.
I
Like
got it from 5 people. Yeah.
but within like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
it was like I got it, and then
Yeah.
someone else, and someone else, and I'm like, anyone, because this is we have a choice of who we surround ourselves with.
Sure.
And then when we're plunked in front of people that don't have these same friends,
That's the challenge. That's
and
why it's
that's,
so freaking hard. That's why it's very, very hard.
but
So,
do you find when people will come up and go, "Hey, Mike, you know what's funny?" And they try, and it's not,
I
and
know.
you're like, "Oh yeah,
You're like, oh,
yeah."
that's funny. Okay.
You can use it. I love that's one of my favorite things. You can use this. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, totally. Hey, do you want to see something on my phone? And then I just have just like a girl shooting eels out of her asshole. And like, because in their culture, she would be killed if she
Yes.
didn't. You know,
I
like,
saw that. That one was about 15 years ago, wasn't it?
yeah, it's a classic
Yeah, it
where
is.
she's just like firing them, like just,
Right. Right. That was
and it
the
was like
Far East
50 baby eels
cinema from the Far East is what that
with,
was.
or the ones with like the fish blowjob. I'm sure
Oh,
you've seen.
that I don't want to see that. I mean,
Is that like your, because I feel like we all have a level of like,
no, it's just like, all right, okay. I can sort of imagine what that feels like, which is kind of nice. So I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
and it's like
So
it ruins it for your fish, like your the whole
that's right.
thing.
That's right. I have terrible news. This thing's going to cut us off in 3 minutes. And what happened last night was with Seth Green, and we had the same little technical thing, and I figured it would start over for the hour, and it cut me off mid-sentence. So,
So you can
so
only do an hour of this, and then it cuts you off.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
never done an Instagram live. Interesting.
yeah, yeah. So, anyway, I think you're fucking hilarious,
Well, I think
and
you're fucking hilarious. Yeah, and
yeah,
I consistently do Herbert and Bruce.
nice,
Yeah.
and
So,
pilots apparently,
well, that's a given.
right?
There
Fly
are
boys,
heroes, right?
fly boys. So,
Yeah,
do you know Chris Frangiola
I do.
from stand up? He's going to join me tomorrow night.
Oh, well, tell him I said hi.
I
He's
will.
very funny. He's a lot
And
funnier than me.
no, y'all are equally funny. And Adam Ray, you know
Oh,
Adam.
yes, I love
Yes, he'll
Adam.
be on Friday, and
He's great.
then I got to
He's
figure
super.
out next week. I met I met Chris Frangiola at the Judy Carter stand-up comedy workshop back in 1991. This woman had written a book, and we did a workshop where you got up for 5 minutes every week in front of the class, and then you got up at Igby's Comedy Club on Pico, which is
And you're
now
bragging.
now it's a dispensary, I think.
Oh,
So it got
even better.
funnier.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are going to get cut off,
So
but
what was the name of the place that y'all met?
the Judy Carter stand-up comedy workshop. And
Did y'all
Frangiola,
do shoot Judy Carter? Did y'all bang her?
no, no,
I thought that story was going to have a happy ending, if you will.
no, no. I don't think she would have liked it. Uh, if you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
we're going to get cut off. But Jenny, I
Okay.
think you're freaking hilarious. I appreciate you joining me. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. And yeah, everybody, please tune
Smile real
back into
big. I'm going
my.
to take a screenshot. Hang on. Smile real big.
Do one more. You're blurry.
Okay.
All
Hang on.
right, we're getting cut off. All right, one more. And then we're getting cut off.
Let me try to get. Okay. Well,
Yeah, that's the one. Send me that
that's
shit.
okay.
All right,
Hang on.
we're
All
going to get
right.
cut off.
All
Love you,
right.
girl.
Bye.
Appreciate
Love
it.
you. Bye.
All right, take care.
All right.
Bye, everybody.